Hey everybody, welcome into Folklore and Flourish. You're here today with Jane over at Blue Box 29. Today is May 16th. We're going to just jump right into it today. It is all about the dance, and it is about fertility through movement in this month of creation and fertility. The lesson for today is rhythm creates life. We're going to look at the dance through Hindu, West African, Andean, and Celtic folklore today. And then the question that you're going to think about after or during is, what moves me? Molly is literally beating at the doors right now. So today you're going to dance briefly, allowing your body to choose the motion. So dance briefly and allow your body to choose the motion. Think about what moves you and let rhythm guide your energy rather than resisting it today. So just came in for a quick pop in. It's kind of late, but hope you guys had a great day, and I hope you enjoyed these 4 stories with the dance. See ya. Before we begin, I want to take a moment to honor the cultures behind the stories we are about to explore. The tales shared here come from many peoples, lands, and traditions. I do not change these stories to fit modern expectations or to align with today's social standards. Instead, I present them as they were told, sometimes beautiful, sometimes harsh, sometimes challenging. We are not here to judge the past, but to understand it, to listen, to learn, and to honor the ancestors who carried these stories forward. We also share stories from various religious traditions. These are presented in their historical and spiritual context, with respect for their beliefs that they represent. Every culture deserves respect, context, and acknowledgement, and this space is dedicated to doing exactly that. Story 1. Shiva, Nataraja, the dance that sustains the cosmos. In the vast expanse where existence is not still but constantly unfolding, there is a presence who does not create through building alone, but through movement itself. This is Shiva, as Nataraja, the lord of the dance, whose motion is not mere expression, but the very rhythm through which the universe exists. He does not stand apart from creation, observing it from a distance, but becomes its pulse, its breath, its continuous unfolding. In this form, Shiva dances within a ring of fire, a circle that represents the cosmos itself, the endless cycle of birth, preservation, and dissolution. His dance is not random, but ordered, not chaotic, but precise, each movement carrying meaning, each gesture shaping reality. In one hand, he holds the damaru, a small drum whose beat marks the beginning of sound, the first vibration from which all creation arises. It is said that from this rhythm came language, time, and the structure of the world itself, the pulse that organizes existence into form. In another hand, he holds fire, the force of destruction, not as an end, but as transformation, the necessary clearing that allows new creation to take place. These two forces, creation and destruction, exist simultaneously within his dance, not in opposition, but in balance, revealing that life does not move forward without both. One foot is planted firmly upon the ground, pressing down the dwarf, Apasmara, who represents ignorance, forgetfulness, and the illusion that life can exist without awareness. The other foot is raised, offering liberation, the possibility of release from what binds, the reminder that movement itself can lead to freedom. The dance of Shiva is not confined to a single moment, but is ongoing, a continuous expression of the universe's nature. It is said that when he dances, the cosmos come into being. When he continues, it is sustained, and when he ceases, it dissolves. Yet this dissolution is not final, but part of the cycle, making space for what will emerge again. The people who understood this dance did not see life as fixed, but as dynamic, always in motion, always changing, always becoming something new. In this way, Shiva, as Nataraja, reveals that stillness is not the absence of movement, but the space within which movement occurs. That even in moments of quiet, the deeper rhythms continue. The dance is not only cosmic but personal, for it exists within the body as well. The heartbeat, the breath, the subtle shifts of energy all reflect this same rhythm, this same pattern of movement and rest, of expansion and contraction. To live is to participate in this dance, whether consciously or not, yet to become aware of it is to align with it, to move not against the current of life, but with it. The people who honored Shiva in this form often expressed this understanding through their own movement, through ritual dance, through practices that brought the body into harmony with the rhythms of existence. In doing so, they did not imitate the divine, but joined it, allowing their own movement to reflect the greater pattern. There is also within this dance an understanding of balance, for movement without awareness can become chaos, and stillness without movement can become stagnation. Shiva holds both, embodying the point where opposites meet, where creation and destruction, motion and rest, existence and dissolution all coexist. His dance is not forced, but natural, arising from the nature of being itself. In this, there is a lesson that life does not need to be controlled to move forward, but understood. That when one aligns with its rhythms, movement becomes not struggle, but flow. As the dance continues, it shapes not only the world, but the understanding of those who observe it. The ring of fire that surrounds Shiva is not a barrier, but a boundary that holds the dance in place, much like the structures within life that allow movement to occur without dissolving into chaos. Within this circle, everything is possible, yet everything is held, balanced by the rhythm that governs it. The people come to see that their own lives exist within such a circle, that their actions, their choices, their movements all contributed to a greater dance. Thus, Shiva as Nataraja remains not only as a figure of myth, but as a representation of the truth that continues, that life is not stagnant, but alive, not fixed, but moving. In every rhythm, in every cycle, in every moment where something shifts, there is his presence. The reminder that movement is not separate from life, but essential to it. The dance does not end, nor does it pause. It continues, shaping and reshaping the world, inviting all who are part of it to recognize their place within it. In this way, the dance becomes not something to observe, but something to enter, to feel, to live, as a rhythm that creates, sustains, and transforms all things. Story 2, Egungun, the dance that brings the ancestors to life. In the living traditions of the Yoruba people, where the boundary between the seen and unseen is not a fixed line, but a veil that shifts and breathes, there exists a form of movement that is not performed for spectacle, but for connection. This is the Egungun, the sacred dance through which the ancestors return, not as memory alone, but as presence. It is not a single figure or story, but a collective embodiment, a ritual in which those who have lived before are called into the present, their wisdom carried through rhythm, through fabric, through motion that transforms the dancer into something more than themselves. In this way, the dance does not imitate life, it becomes a continuation of it. The Egungun is recognized by its layered garments, elaborate and flowing, constructed by cloth that moves with every step, every turn, every shift of the body. These garments are not decoration, but transformation, designed to conceal the identity of the one within, allowing the ancestor to take form without interference. When the dancer enters the space, they do not do so as an individual, but as a vessel, their body becoming the medium through which the past moves into the present. The fabric spins and lifts, responding to the rhythms of the drums, creating a visual expression of something unseen. The presence of those who are no longer physically among the living, yet remain connected through lineage and memory. The drum is central to this movement, not as accompaniment, but as a voice, a language that calls and directs the dance. Its rhythm is not random, but intentional, each pattern carrying meaning, each beat guiding the steps of the Egungun. The dancer responds not through thought, but through alignment, allowing the body to move as the rhythm dictates. In this exchange, the boundary between dancer and drum, between movement and sound, begins to dissolve. The dance becomes a dialogue, a communication between worlds, where the ancestors are not distant, but actively engaged, their presence felt in the energy of the movement, in the atmosphere that surrounds it. The purpose of the Egungun is not only to remember, but to restore balance, to bring guidance, to correct what has strayed. The ancestors, through the dance, observe the living, offering insight, sometimes through gesture, sometimes through presence alone. The community gather not as spectators, but as participants, recognizing that what is occurring is not separate from their lives, but deeply connected to it. The dance may bring blessing, or it may bring correction, for the ancestors are not idealized figures. but active forces within the continuity of life, concerned with the well-being of those who follow them. In this way, the dance becomes a form of renewal, a means through which the living realign with the values, the knowledge, and the continuity that sustains them. Movement within the Egungun is not controlled in the way of structured choreography, but guided, shaped by the interplay between rhythm, presence, and intention. The dancer may spin rapidly, the garments lifting and expanding, creating a sense of something larger than the body itself. At other times, the movement may slow, becoming deliberate, grounded, emphasizing the weight of what is being carried. Each shift reflects a different aspect of the connection, a different way in which the ancestor is expressed. The people understand that this is not performance, but embodiment, that the dance is not about display, but about presence, about allowing what is unseen to move through what is seen. As the dance continues, the space itself begins to change, not physically, but in perception, in awareness. The ordinary becomes charged, the air thick with meaning, the sense that something beyond the immediate is present. The Egungun moves through this space, interacting, responding, sometimes approaching individuals, sometimes addressing the group as a whole. There is an understanding that this is not to be taken lightly, that the presence of the ancestor is both a gift and a responsibility, requiring respect, attention, and the willingness to receive what is offered. When the dance concludes, the garments are removed, the dance returns to their individual form, yet what has occurred does not simply end. The connection remains, the guidance given continues to influence. The sense of continuity between past and present is reinforced. The Egungun reveals that life is not confined to a single moment or generation, but is part of an ongoing movement, a rhythm that extends beyond the individual. In this way, the dance becomes a reminder that existence itself is relational, that what has come before continues to shape what is, and that through movement, through ritual, through intentional connection, that relationship can be maintained. Thus, the Egungun stands as a living expression of rhythm that creates life, not by forming something new, but by sustaining what already exists, by keeping the connection between generations active and present. In every step, in every turn, in every beat of the drum, there is the echo of those who came before, moving through the present, ensuring that life continues not in isolation, but in continuity. The dance does not end, it transforms, carried forward in memory and practice, in the ongoing rhythm of life itself. Story 3. Pachamama, the dance that feeds the earth. High in the mountains where the air thins and the land stretches in terraces carved by human hands, there is a presence not separate from the ground beneath one's feet, but living within it. This is Pachamama, the Earth Mother, whose body is the land itself, whose breath is the wind that moves across the valleys, whose nourishment is found in the crops that rise from the soil. She is not distant nor removed from daily life, but present in every step taken upon the earth, in every seed planted, in every harvest gathered. The people do not speak of her as an abstract force, but as a living being, one who must be honored, one who responds to care and neglect alike. In this relationship, there exists a rhythm, a movement between giving and receiving, a dance that sustains both the land and those who depend on it. The people of the Andes do not approach the earth as something to be used without acknowledgement. Before planting, before harvesting, before taking what is needed, they offer back. Small portions of food, leaves of coca, drops of drink, these are placed into the soil, not as loss, but as continuation, a recognition that what is taken must be balanced by what is given. These offerings are not made in silence, but often accompanied by movement, by dance that reflects the cycles of the earth itself. The body bends, turns, steps in patterns that mirrors the rhythms of planting and growth, the repetition of seasons, the ongoing exchange between human and land. In this dance, the people do not perform for Pachamama, but with her, their movement becoming part of the larger motion that sustains life. The dance itself is not rigid but responsive, shaped by the environment, by the moment, by the needs of the community. It may be slow and grounded, reflecting the steady work of tending the soil, or it may become more expansive, echoing the growth that follows the rains, the abundance that comes when balance is maintained. The feet press into the earth, the body aligns with the contours, and in this contract, there is a recognition that life does not stand above the land, but within it. The people understand that their well-being is tied directly to the health of the earth, that what they do influences what the land will give in return. The dance becomes a way of remembering this, a way of reinforcing the connection, of ensuring that the relationship remains active and conscious. There are times when the balance is disrupted, when the rains do not come, when the crops do not grow as expected. In these moments, the response is not to demand from the land, but to return to the relationship, to offer more, to engage more deeply, to restore what has been lost. The dance becomes more intentional, the offerings more deliberate, the recognition of dependence more clear. Pachamama is not seen as withholding without reason, but as reflecting the state of the relationship itself. When care is given, when respect is maintained, when the cycles are honored, the land responds. This understanding shapes the way the people live, guiding their actions, their choices, their interactions with the environment. The movement of the dance also carries the memory of generations, passed down through time, each step holding within it the knowledge of those who have come before. It is not invented anew each time, but continued, adapted, and sustained, a living tradition that connects past and present. In this continuity, the dance itself becomes a form of nourishment, not only for the land, but for the people, reinforcing their identity, their place within the world, their role within the cycle of life. The body becomes the instrument through which this connection is expressed, through which the relationship is maintained. As the seasons turn and the cycles repeat, Pachamama remains constant, her presence carried in the land, in the movement of those who honor her, in the balance that sustains life. The dance continues, not as a separate act, but as part of living itself, woven into the daily practices that ensure the continuation of both land and people. It is a reminder that life is not sustained through taking alone, but through participation, through the ongoing exchange that defines existence. Thus, Pachamama stands as the embodiment of a truth that extends beyond a single place or culture, that life is relational, that movement is part of that relationship, that rhythm creates and sustains. In every step taken with awareness, in every offering made with intention, in every moment where the connection between human and earth is honored, there is her presence. The dance does not end, for it is not separate from life itself, but is life, moving, giving, receiving, continuing in a rhythm that has no beginning and no end. Story 4, the Maypole, the dance that weaves life together. In the turning of the seasons, when the long hush of winter loosens its grip and the earth begins to breathe again, there emerges a celebration not of stillness, but of motion. This is the time when fields soften, when buds swell into bloom, and when people gather not only to witness the return of life, but to participate in it. Among these celebrations stands the Maypole, a tall, living symbol set at the heart of the village green, around which the people move in patterns that are both simple and deeply symbolic. It is not the pole alone that holds meaning, but the dance that surrounds it, weaving a movement that reflects the unseen processes of growth unfolding beneath the surface of the world. The Maypole itself is often fashioned from a young tree, stripped and smooth, rising from the earth as a central axis, a connection between ground and sky. From its top extend ribbons, long strands of color that fall outward, each one held by a participant in the dance. At first, these rhythms hang freely, separate, unconnected. But as the music begins and the dancers step into motion, something begins to change. The movement is not chaotic, but ordered, a series of steps that guide each person around the pole, crossing paths with others, passing beneath and over, creating a pattern that grows more intricate with each turn. As the dance continues, the ribbons begin to weave together, forming a braided pattern around the pole. What was once separate becomes unified, each strand contributing to a larger whole. No single dancer controls the pattern, yet each one is essential to its creation. If one were to stop, the pattern would falter. If one were to move without awareness of the others, the weaving would tangle. The dance requires attention, coordination, and a shared rhythm, a willingness to move not only for oneself, but in relation to the group. In this, the Maypole dance becomes more than celebration. It becomes a reflection of how life itself is sustained through connection, through cooperation, through the interweaving of individual actions into a collective pattern. The origins of this dance are tied to fertility rites, to the recognition that life does not emerge in isolation, but through interaction, through the meeting of forces, through the blending of elements that create something new. The pole stands as a symbol of growth, of vitality, while the ribbons represent the many paths of life, the threads that, when brought together, create strength and beauty. The act of weaving them through movement mirrors the unseen processes occurring within the earth, where roots intertwine, where nutrients circulate, where life builds upon itself in ways that are both complex and harmonious. The music that accompanies the dance is steady, guiding the steps, providing a rhythm that unites the participants. It is not overly fast nor overly slow, but balanced, allowing the dancers to maintain awareness, to adjust as needed, to remain in sync with one another. The body responds naturally to this rhythm, stepping, turning, reaching, each movement contributing to the evolving pattern. In this state, the dancers often lose the sense of separation between themselves and the dance, becoming part of the motion rather than directing it. The focus shifts from individual performance to collective creation, from doing to being within the flow. As the dance nears its completion, the pattern becomes clear, the ribbons now tightly woven around the pole, forming a unifying design that stands as a visible representation of the process that created it. The dancers step back, observing what has been formed, recognizing that it was not the work of one, but of all. The maypole stands adorned not by static decoration, but by the result of movement, by the energy that has been shared, by the coordination that has been maintained. It becomes a marker of the season, a reminder of the cycles of growth, of the importance of connection, of the role that each individual plays within the larger whole. Yet the dance does not end with the weaving alone. Often it is unwoven. The ribbons released, the patterns undone, returning the strands to their original state. This act is not destruction, but continuation, a recognition that life is not fixed, that patterns form and dissolve, that what is created in one moment may transform in the next. The cycle continues, each year bringing a new dance, a new weaving, a new expression of the same underlying rhythm. Thus, the maypole dance stands as a living expression of fertility through movement, a reminder that life is not sustained through stillness, but through interaction, through the weaving together of many parts into a cohesive whole. In every step taken in harmony, in every moment of shared rhythm, there is a continuation of this tradition, the reflection of a truth that extends beyond the dance itself. Life moves, connects, intertwines, and through this movement, it continues. Daily thread for May 16th. Life awakens when it begins to move. Rhythm is the hidden architect of growth. What we repeat, we create. Movement turns intention into form. To join the rhythm is to join life itself. Balance is found in motion, not stillness. What flows together begins to flourish. Creation is a dance, and you are within it.